Joining us now, another very fine author. His name is Colin Dodds. I guess he lives in New York City, but he writes a book called Another Broken Wizard, which takes place actually in Worcester, which is the second largest city in Massachusetts. Hey there, Colin.
Hey, how are you, Jordan?
Thanks so much for joining us. You were recommended by my friend Robin Stratton, who is a writer and a teacher of writing, and she's terrific. And you've got a great novel here that is getting a lot of acclaim, and you get to show Worcester to the world. And what connection do you have to Worcester?
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it, showing Worcester to the world. There's not a lot of books about it. I grew up there. I grew up in Shrewsbury and Worcester, and I went to school there. I went to school at Venerini Academy in Worcester and at St. John's High School in Shrewsbury when I was a young man.
In this story, you have a young man, Jim, who has to head back, as so many people do, to tend to his dad, his ill dad. And that's just part of the story. Obviously, there's a lot going on. But did you have to go back to your hometown to research it when you wrote this?
I did. I mean, I was going back on a regular basis because my parents lived there at the time. They've both since moved. And what happened was a good friend of mine died, and I ended up spending a lot of time up there, first for the wake and the funeral, because he had died overseas. It took a while for the body to come back. And then also, and there was a situation not as extreme as the one in the book where I went back to help out my mother, who had a minor surgery.
Tell us about tell us about the title, Another Broken Wizard.
Another Broken Wizard, it was a title that came to me late in writing the book. And there's a scene there, and I guess I'm going to ruin it to some extent, but there's a funeral, and a funeral for the main character's friend, and another one of his friends who's trying to help him, but really isn't sure how. He's a little mentally ill. He gives Jim, the main character of the book, Jim, this clay wizard. It's an incense holder, and Jim is scrambling to go to a liquor store because they close very early, and he just needs a drink. And he's scrambling to get out of the car, and this clay figurine falls under his foot and breaks. And it's one of those things where a lot of things are going wrong, and it's the last straw. And he reflects at the time. The story is told from Jim's point of view, that it's another broken wizard.
Yeah, what I was going to say, one of the things about this author, Bonnie, Colin, is his amazing ear for dialogue. And I grew up not in the midsection of Massachusetts, but south. And the dialogue is very familiar to me because I'm from here. And, I mean, the way these characters converse. And Worcester has its own identity. Worcester is the Seven Hills and all, but it's a very tight-knit, proud area. And also there's a lot of ethnic mixing. So you got a lot of rich characters to play with. Absolutely, yeah. Growing up, I always used to go to the Greek Festival over by Elm Park, and there are a lot of ethnic identities. I think my Little League team was the Lithuanian War Vets. So so there's a lot of that. And it's also distinct. I think when I was a kid, I'd go into Boston twice a year. I'd go to the aquarium and Fenway Park. Oh, sure. Yeah, that's the way it is. It's like a separate conclave. But it's also a small city that has a lot of stuff going on, some dark and dingy and dirty stuff, as well as some hopeful stuff. But I thought that the dialogue between the characters, the friends, there's a lot of what they used to call in the old neighborhood cutting, meaning you cut somebody down with your words.
Yeah.
One-upsmanship.
Yeah.
But is this your first novel?
This, I've written 5 novels.
Oh, my goodness. Okay.
This is my 4th.
Excellent. And it's called Another Broken Wizard, and it takes place in Worcester. Where do your other novels take place?
I have one that takes place in Southern California. I have one that takes place largely in Chicago. I just finished one that takes place in Washington, D.C., as well as in the Four Corners area out west. So they're really all over the place.
Oh, that's terrific, man. You have a great style, and again, Robin is a friend. She's been on the show, and she recommended you highly, and I'm glad we were able to connect. And for those people who want to find out more, obviously they can just Google Another Broken Wizard by Colin Dodds. I'm asking this question of everybody. Do you have any other sites you'd like to send us to?
Well, anotherbrokenwizard.com
Perfect.
is a good one. It
Okay.
has all the information. If you type it into YouTube, there's a short movie trailer about the book.
Yes, I saw that. That was pretty cool.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Thank you.
Yep.
And it's also on Amazon, and it's part of their lending library for the next month and a half. So
Outstanding.
if you belong to that, you can even get it for free.
All right. Well, listen, thank you, Colin. We're happy to have you on this particular show when we highlight a lot of local authors and people who are doing some good things, and, of course, listeners' suggestions as well. Thanks for joining us, and best of luck with Another Broken Wizard.
Thank you. I appreciate you having me